The date is November 10, 1996. The survivor is Bertha Lautman, middle name Berkovitz. The interviewer is Ziona, Austrian. The city is Cleveland, Ohio. We are in the United States of America, and language is English. My name is Ziona, Austrian. I'm conducting an interview with Bertha Lautman. Today is November 10, 1996, and we are in University Heights, a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio, United States. What is your name, and please spell it?
My name is Bertha Lautman, L-A-U-T as in Tom, M-A-N, my last name.
And what is your maiden name?
My maiden name is Berkovitz, B as in boy, E-R-K-O-V-I-T-Z.
And when were you born?
August 27, 1925.
Okay. And where were you born?
Czechoslovakia. Dolhoňa is the little town.
Okay. And how old are you, Bertha?
70. Oh, okay, 70.
Okay. All right. Describe your family, please. Your mother, your father, and your siblings.
Well, I come from a middle-class, nice, very Orthodox family. My father worked in a lumber yard, worked very hard, supported 7 children. I'm the youngest of the girls. Mother, as I remember, a housewife with 7 children. Of course, what else would she be? And I think it was a very, if I think back now, I think it was a very warm, close-knit family. Religion played a very important role always, being that they were both very Orthodox, and we were all brought up in an Orthodox way. My brothers, I had 3 brothers, and it was 4 girls. My brothers, the 2 older ones were in yeshivot, and my little one was in a cheder, and for the girls we had a teacher, it's called a melamed, in the house to teach the girls, not the way they teach nowadays the girls with chumash and all this. Davening was very important, to say the prayers and to know by heart the prayers, for which I was very thankful later on. Little did I know that I'm going to need this to know by heart a lot, because I used my praying all through my years in concentration camp. So it was a beautiful family, a beautiful life, and I remember it well. I have fond memories of it.
Were you close to your mother and father?
Very close. I was Daddy's little girl. That's what bothers me. I was close to my mother too. Being the youngest, I was spoiled. My sister tells me today that I was a spoiled brat. And again, Daddy's little girl was very important for me. So I was very close to my father, maybe a little bit closer to my mother. But I loved it.
Did you live in a house or apartment?
No. We had a house. In fact, I went back to the house after I was liberated. It wasn't as big as my house now, and my house compared to some houses is not big now neither. But we had enough room for everybody, for the 7 children. Of course, I don't remember too many times all the 7 children at home, because of the boys being away in the yeshivot, and Lily, I think, was away, my older sister. So I don't remember all of them except for Pesach, for Seders. I remember twice all my siblings at home. So we had enough room. It was a beautiful home. It was clean, it was spotless. Mother must have been a very good housekeeper. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And we went to school there.
What kind of school did you go to?
Well, my first 5 years was Russian, believe it or not. But it's not the Russian that you hear now. My sister told me that we spoke Ukraine Russian, and Slovak was my second language in the 5 years. After the 5 years, I went to a higher school, to a better school, and to a bigger city. So that was called Mešťanka. There, I turned to Slovak, and I had to take Russian and German. So I was brought up with a lot of languages. Right at home, I spoke Slovak, Yiddish, and Polish, because there were a lot of Polish working people at the lumberyard, and so we learned Polish just as I did Slovak or Yiddish. So I was brought up with a lot of languages.
Who were your neighbors?
My neighbors, most of what I remember, the Polish people that worked there, and Slovaks and the Russians, the Ukraine, what you would call them. And we had a maid that she was Ukrainian also. So it was fun then. It was nice then.
What did you do in your free time? Who did you play with?
We played the siblings together and kids around there, the Polish kids. And what I remember most of the time is hopscotch. I remember it well. So that was, I guess that must have been the main occupation, the main, to play with. I'm sure we didn't have toys like children have nowadays, for sure not. And then there wasn't that much time left because of Hebrew learning.
Did you feel any anti-Semitism when you were as a little kid?
Not as a little kid. I'm talking about little, first grade, second grade. But then as the years went on, somehow we did hear it at home, the anti-Semitism, and we saw it on the streets and in school. Now we're getting now to school where we had to make the Star of David bands, that I am in Vyšný Svidník already now, in the higher class. There was a lot of anti-Semitism there because, like for instance, we were not given tests, but we were given the worst grades automatically.
In what grade were you then?
What grade? Well, according back home, I think that must have been the 9th or 10th grade already.
And did you stay in that city, or did you come home every day?
No, I stayed there a whole week.
There? Okay.
I lived there, and we came home for Shabbat.
And who were your friends there?
Oh, school friends from Svidnik. I had a lot of good friends. And more girls came like from surrounding villages, from surrounding little towns, came to Svidnik to school. So we had a lot of friends.
And they were Jewish, most of them?
Jewish, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a lot of good friends. And school was the best year, what I remember, was my second year in Svidnik, and it was excellent. It was excellent, very good. Then the third year was bad already. That was when the Czechoslovakia fell apart, I think, already that year. And as I said before, we were given the worst grades, and then we were not allowed to go to school at all.
Did you go back home and stayed home at that time?
We went back home and we stayed home, just around the house.
Bertha, can you describe the temple or the synagogue, shul, that you and your family went to?
Yeah, it was a shtibel. I don't know if you know what the shtibel is. It's a small house where from all the surrounding little towns, excuse me, the people got together, and that's where they had their prayers, and that's where they had for high holidays. And I remember the Chazan. So I always have him in my mind. He was great, but not a Chazan like you have in mind, a Chazan here. You know, it was different, but it was so nice. Like about Tefillah, they call it in Yiddish. I don't know what they call it in English, but it's definitely not an opera star. You know, but he davened very nice, and I have it in my mind. I hear it. I hear it. And I was always there with my mother. It's interesting. I was very good at Hebrew. I still am in Hebrew davening. Excuse me. So I would do the davening, and mother would follow me. I was very good at it, and I remember it well. So it was good, you know. We all got together in that shtibel, and they all davened, separate the women and separate the men. It was fine for that time of the year.
Do you remember Shabbat dinners that your mother was having?
Yeah. Well, of course, it was cholent and kugel. Yeah, and nothing is better. I will never make anything as good as my mother, never. And I'm a pretty good cook, but never as good as my mother's. Yeah, we had cholent. You know what else is egg salad. I mean, this had to be. This had to be. It was called irreplaceable in Jewish. And you don't sit down to the table without irreplaceable, you know. And cholent, and you know, the cholent wasn't with meat like you have cholent here, because you know it wasn't gotten. We just couldn't get it. And kugel, mother made the best kugel. And there was always compote, mostly applesauce. Yeah, it was fun. And the challah that mother baked, that I made the dough for it. Friday morning, I had to get up on a little stool and help mother make, because we had to bake our own bread, and our own challah, and our own kuchen, and rolls, everything. So I was a good girl. I would help me make the dough.
Did you have company or guests that came?
Yeah.
Usually?
Yeah.
Who were
Yeah.
there?
Well, from neighboring towns. Mother always invited this orchim. We always had. Yeah, oh yeah.
Did you have grandparents that lived around you?
No, I don't remember grandparents at all. Never, no kind. In fact, I don't know anything about the family except for one uncle and aunt that lived in Slovakia. Luchumbachi and Suriname. Those are the only ones.
Was there a Jewish community around you, or your neighborhood was more mixed?
It was more mixed, and the closest Jewish community was in Kapishova. There was a little bit more, but then Svidnik was more of a Jewish community. They had more Jews. The Jews had all kind of stores, and it was a bigger city, like, you know. So it was.
Let's talk about the beginning of the war. What were the first signs that you felt? You mentioned something that you had to do a Jewish star.
We had to do this in school, the Star of David, the armbands, and that's when it really started out, because this is when Czechoslovakia fell apart. The Czechs went separate, and the Slovaks. So we were Slovak Republic, like we are now. And that's when the anti-Semitism really showed. And that must have been already 40, 41, very hard 2 years to go through. And they were talking about taking girls. They started out then already talking about the girls taken to work in Slovakia. But I mentioned that to you, Ziona, that my father being a Chassid, so God would help him. God will help, you know, it's not going to happen. But then, when 1942 came around, we got a message one day from Kapishova that the police is coming for my sisters.
Bertha, before we go into 1942,
Yeah.
when you had to stay home and you couldn't go to school, what did the girls do? Did you just play, help at home?
Just help at home, help in the house, and play.
Was your father still working?
Yeah, yeah. In fact, when I left, my father was still working. I don't know what happened exactly after that. And he didn't have that much time after that because he was taken. But we were just like sitting around, helping mother, and that's, I don't remember doing nothing else really. When I think back, I don't recall anything else.
Were you still playing with the non-Jewish kids?
Yeah, well, children, you know. We were older then, but we still, they of course went to school, but after school we could still play. We could still play with them. I don't think so we played that much, but we did. And just helping mother.
And where were your brothers at that time?
My brothers were still in yeshivas. Yeshivas or working, maybe they were bakers already then, both of them, my oldest brother and my second oldest. I think they must have worked already then, you know, by 41, 42. I think so, yeah.
And they lived at home?
No, they did not. And in fact, when the police came, none of the girls were home, only I was home and Hershey, my little brother.
Okay.
So they were away.
Tell us what happened when the police came to your house.
Yeah. Well, when the police came, well, I had to start packing. They told my parents that they were going to take me to work right in Slovakia. And there was no other choice, but my mother started to pack. So, you know, I have to tell you one thing, that I was born, and I forgot the English name for it also. There's a baby, some babies are born that they have something on their heads, like a thin layer of skin, and they call it a habel in Jewish. I forgot the English name of it. So I remember my father telling me, and this is a good luck. So when you go under the chuppah, so you put this on your head, under your veil. So I remember my father telling me that you're going to write home, so I'm going to send it to you, this habel. So, yeah, my mother packed me up while they were waiting for me. And, yeah, I had to say goodbye to my father and to Hershey. And my mother came with me to the next town, to Kapishova. Now, you know, to say goodbye to my father, it's Daddy's little girl. And little did I know then that this would be the last time that I would see him. I remember we had a dairy table and a meat table. This is the kashrut, whatever. And there was a little chair in between. That's where I sat. I remember my father blessed me. And you know what? I walk around with my father's hands over my head. It's very comforting, very good for me. And I said goodbye to Hershey. My mother came with me, and off we go. And that's when I left my home for the last time. We came to Kapishova, and we stayed there overnight. Of course, nobody slept much. And they were congregating in this house, the Shalom and Einhorn. They congregated in that house, and they were talking that, oh no, they're gonna just take the girls work in Slovakia, and nobody ever heard of Auschwitz. So we stayed overnight there, and from there the next day we were taken by buses to the city of Stropkov, where all the girls were congregated.
Was your mother with you?
My mother came with me all the way to Stropkov. While I was on the bus, my brother, Volvi, the one that I saw in Birkenau, He came from Prešov. My two sisters, Magda and Fanny, were in Prešov. That's another city in Slovakia. And I was on the bus already. And he came to me and he said goodbye to me and he told me that the girls are okay. And I said goodbye to my mother there. And you know what? As soon as I didn't see my mother, I became so independent. I grew up instantly. Instantly, and I became a big girl. And the buses took off. No, I really don't know. I didn't try to figure out what was the age then. I don't know. And we took off and we went to Poprad. Now, I don't know if you heard about Poprad, but Poprad was the city where we were all congregated. I mean, all the girls got together, you know, from all the towns, cities, and Poprad was the city where they put us on the cattle trains. I remember that we left right away. Now, I have somebody here, she was with me in Lighting Commando, and she says, no, we stayed a week in Poprad. So, I don't know, but what I remember is that we were put on these cattle trains as soon as we arrived to Poprad. And off we go. Now, I was like in a clique, because there were older girls from our neighborhood, so mother asked them they should take care of me, so I was always with these girls in this clique. And off we go to Auschwitz. Now, of course, we didn't know that we go to Auschwitz, but we traveled for 2 days and 3 nights. Now, we had the food because Mommy packed. Sanitary, don't ask about it, and I really don't want to talk about it because it was horrible. The trains would stop at times at certain stations, and through these little windows we would ask, you know, it wasn't only me that spoke Polish, it was more girls, you know, so nobody knew where we're going, nobody knew what it is. Closer to Auschwitz, when the train stopped, we asked him, so he says, Auschwitz. Now, at the time, I didn't know that Auschwitz is in Polish, Auschwitz. Well, sure enough, March 23rd, 1942, we arrived to Auschwitz. The doors opened up, and the only people that we saw is SS, with those big, huge German Shepherd dogs. And the next thing that you heard is, los, mach schnell, hurry up, make it fast. And it really didn't make no difference whether we took our luggage or not, but of course everybody tried to take because we didn't know what's waiting for us. Everybody got out of the trains and we had to march up to the camp. Now, I've been back 6 times. Somehow or other, I don't remember the distance from the train to the camp. I was trying, each time I go, I try to find the train station, and somehow I can't find it, and it's not familiar to me at all. So I don't remember the walk from the train station to the camp. But we come up to the camp with Arbeit macht frei, that infamous sign, and they took us to the left. Now, this is not there anymore now. What I'm saying, that they took us to the left, where we got undressed. Now, to get undressed for little girls, you know, whatever age, but I was a little girl because this is the way I was the youngest. In the European way, the youngest is always little. I mean, I was little in size and little in, you know, I was just a little girl. And being that most of us came from Orthodox families, so in its men only, to get undressed in front of men, it was very hard, very hard. I remember it. Boy, do I remember it well. So we got undressed, and piece by piece, and that's March. Europe is very cold, and then they put us into 3 tubs of water. 3 tubs of water. I don't know why. After that, shaved our hair, I had my number tattooed. My number is 1048, 1048. All through my camp years, I was identified only by my number, not by my name. And then the first 50, you can see my number is 48, so the first 50 were internally checked. I don't know what for. So of course I was one of the lucky ones. I was internally checked. Now for a little girl to go through this wasn't so easy. And so we got our camp clothes and we were put to the first barrack in Auschwitz. If you ever go, so the first barrack to the left, that's where I spent my first few months in Auschwitz.
What kind of clothes did they give you?
Not a winter jacket, wooden shoes. It was my top was smallish, kind of wool, and pants. Was it pants or a skirt? I think pants, and the striped clothes. It was not warm at all, not warm at all, and a towel, a small towel. So that's what we put on our heads. You know, you come out from 3 washtubs, bathtubs, and the hair is shaved, so it's cold. And as I say, Europe is very cold in March. So and we stayed in this barrack till we moved to Birkenau. But in this barrack, for the first 4 weeks, we did not march out for work. The only thing that we did is Zählappell. Roll call was for hours, morning and night, for hours, and we were counted constantly. I wouldn't know why, because nobody went anywhere. I mean, we were electrified wires all around us, and so nobody ran away, but we were counted in Zählappell for 2 hours. Now, to stand Zählappell for 2 hours, you can't relax, you can't, you just have to really stand. I went through that too. I'm here. So after the so the diet, the food.
Bertha Lautman, November 10, 1996. Bertha, we were talking about your stay in Auschwitz. Can you describe the food?
Yes. Our food was black coffee, a little bit of black coffee, and a small piece of black bread in the morning and evening. For lunch, we got soup that was made out of horse meat. It was horrible. So me being from an Orthodox background and observing dietary laws, I made up my own dinim, my own laws. I didn't eat the soup. The first 4 weeks I didn't eat the soup. I only ate the bread and the coffee because of kashrut. Now, that takes a lot when you're hungry, that's all you get. But that's the upbringing, that's how much the home meant. And that's how much I carried on about the home as much as I was able to. And we arrived 4 weeks before Pesach, Passover. So for Passover, of course, I'm not allowed to eat the bread. So I turned around, I ate the soup, and I didn't eat the bread. This is the way my mind worked, and this is the way I did it. And it's just, I thought I'm observing the best I was able at under the circumstances. that was all through the camp. This is what we got. In Birkenau, once in a while, we would get Pellkartoffel, potatoes boiled in skin. But that was only once in a while on a Sunday, you know. The food, and also if you wanted to leave a piece of bread for later, for instance, not to eat up everything in the morning, you had to really watch it, because kids took it. Everybody was hungry.
You mean other prisoners?
Other prisoners, yes. Because, was very little, very little. The Auschwitz barracks were much better than Birkenau, because it was like bunk beds in Auschwitz. It's not what you have in mind, bunk beds here, but they were bunk beds, and so it was much better. Also, the washrooms were much better in Auschwitz than in Birkenau. So we used to get together in the washrooms. We called it Zachodove Spravi, the news from the washrooms. So what did we talk about? We talked about food because we were hungry. We talked about parents a lot. Listen, I tell you, I was ready to give my life to see my parents one more time. And also, we were talking about maybe being liberated. Maybe tomorrow, maybe after tomorrow. But tomorrow came much too late, because there was no such thing like seeing parents again. After the 4 weeks, we started to march out for work. So what was my work in Auschwitz? Digging ditches, day in and day out. Every time, all the time. I have no idea what they used them for, but this is what I did in Auschwitz. Now, the selections didn't start out yet, because from the beginning, when they were bringing the Slovak girls, and it was Slovak girls only, up to 1,000 they had Polish, non-Jewish women, and we started out from 1,000. So they brought about 18,000 girls to Auschwitz, and there were no selections while the transport came in, and there were no selections while going out for work and coming in. Later on, it started out. I remember that I moved from Auschwitz to Birkenau in August, so it must have been around May, June, July that they started selections already. Another thing that I did, as far as my religion is concerned, I got myself a siddur. Have no idea how I got it. I don't remember. But that siddur kind of kept me alive. I prayed an awful lot there whenever I had free time, and whenever no SS were around. So I prayed a lot. I always said my Shema before I went to sleep. I said Moriani in the morning. I benched. I was a frum little girl, very frum.
Bertha, who were the other girls or women around you in the barrack?
Girls that I came with from home. All Bekannte, all girls that I knew from home and I knew from school.
Did you all support each other?
Oh yeah. Well, it was great talking to each other. I mean, in the washrooms, because the bunk beds is, it's not so easy to talk. But that's why we got together there and we talked and we kind of like supported each other. Yeah, it was very good then. One of the girls committed suicide about 2 months later. That came with me that I knew her. She just said, I can't go on anymore. And to commit suicide in Auschwitz was very easy, because you just touch the wires and you're dead. So that was easy death. When they started out to have selections, so by then, I heard that they were looking for girls for Leichenkommando. Leichenkommando is Hevre Kadisha. And I talked to the girls that came with me. The mother asked they should take care of me, that this is what I want to do, because anyway, fall was coming and winter, and I was very afraid of cold weather. So, and this would be inside, it would be much better for me. Of course, they didn't want me to do that, because third dimension, you know, with dead people. I mean, how can you do this? But I guess I was so independent, I didn't listen to no one, and I was lucky enough to get that job. So I'm getting now to Leichenkommando.
How did you get
But
the job?
wait a minute, but Leichenkommando, no, pardon me. I jumped too fast because Leichenkommando was Birkenau. Leichenkommando was Birkenau. So yes, I'm still in Auschwitz. Well, it continued the same, but in Auschwitz, one day a friend of mine came home from work, and she said, you know, I saw your brother there where we worked, but I had to change commandos. So I changed.
Are you talking about the ditches you were digging?
Digging ditches all the time, day in and day out.
And one of your girlfriends saw your brother?
One of my girlfriends saw my brother, Volvi, and she came back to camp and she told me that I saw your brother, and if you could change, or if you want to change, you could maybe be able to see him tomorrow. And I did change, and I did get to see Volvi, and he saw me, and I mean, we didn't talk because, I mean, we were not allowed to talk, but we did see each other. And I came back, and the SS officer, she recognized me that I didn't belong to this commando. So that was the only time I really was beaten very badly in Auschwitz. I was very obedient because I was afraid of that. But I guess it was worth it to see my brother. And my brother did die in Auschwitz. So in August of 1942, again, getting back to religion, it kept the morale up. It played a very important role in my life. That it kept me alive. So from Auschwitz, we moved to Birkenau. Birkenau is about 3 kilometers from Auschwitz, and it had to be sometimes around August, what I remember.
Did your whole group move with you?
Everybody.
The whole barrack?
Everybody moved. Yeah, so we come to Birkenau. Now, Birkenau, the barracks and the washrooms, all together, everything is very different, very different. The barracks were only koyas, we call them. It's also like bunk beds, but it's brick and boards for the mattress. Very dirty. The barracks, my barrack is still very dirty now, even now when I go in. My barrack was 27. It's still there. The washrooms were outside. Now, diarrhea was very much in style in Birkenau. Everybody had it. So if you had to go during the night, and in the Torwache, the SS soldiers are all in the booths, and to shoot a prisoner was nothing, was no big deal. So if you were afraid to go to the washrooms during the night, you used the bowl that you had for the soup. Now you won't see this in films. You don't see this in papers and magazines and books. Nowhere. At least this is what I did. This is what we did. Because of being afraid to be shot. So that's when I come to Leichenkommando. I heard about this Leichenkommando and I figured I'm not going to listen to nobody. I don't remember how I got the job, but I got it. And I'll tell you why. I kind of think that this is how I survived Birkenau, because I didn't have to stand Zelappel, which is 2 hours. That's a lot. We got a double portion of food, and we had a very good SS doctor that once in a while he opened up the washrooms for us, so we were able to wash. And he also gave us gloves when we went to get the dead people. So this was Leichenkommando. Wherever a girl died, or if they brought in Polish women, they had something to do with politics, prostitution, or with Jews. So they brought them in, they gave them a shot, and we were the ones to carry them out in the Leichenhalle. Leichenhalle was a small booth behind the 25th barrack, and that's where we stuck them up. Just 2 bodies, one on top of the other. It didn't really matter. except when there was a friend. So we were kind of more careful and we asked for forgiveness. I took out babies. I took out women that were still breathing. We had their so-called Revere hospital that we threw down the body from the third bed, from the top bed, and she was still breathing. And it didn't mean a thing, not a thing. If I would have had what to eat, I could have eaten with my other hand, But that was still the best place to work, Leichen Commando. I was in it for 13 months. Now, Birkenau, the selections were big. So I didn't have to go through selections. And except when most of the time they made the biggest selections on Shabbat or on the high holidays. And Yom Kippur, 43 was, like they really cleaned out the camp. So we were, the Leichen Commando, all 20 girls, we were sitting with our capo, with Polaknini, we were sitting in the Leichen booth and waiting for our turn. Well, when they came, the SS came with Dr. Mengele, so we said, the Polaknini, the capo said that we belong to the hospital, so they didn't take us. So you see, it's, I suppose, whatever was meant for me, if you believe in it. The transports would come in day and night. The crematoriums were burning day and night. The camp was all lit up from the crematorium. And the most I remember is 44, the Hungarian Jews. And that's where I picked up my language, the Hungarian. They came one after the other. And as you know, the Germans are very precise people. Everything is very pünktlich, So they were so well organized with the people bringing in. 1,000 people came in. An hour later, there was only the smoke. Dr. Mengele at the ramps, at the famous ramps, if you ever go, you see them. To the left, to the right, it took no time. It was very fast because it made no difference. It was the Jews. And the next transport would come in, one after the other. Of course, the Sonderkommando, when they told them that this is the Sonderkommando, were the people that worked in the crematoriums. I was Leichen Commando, but the Sonderkommando was different. They were at the ramps and at the crematorium. So a lot of times they tried, if they saw a young mother, to take away the baby, to save the mother. But they were not successful with that because the mother wouldn't give up the baby. So they all marched up to Brzezinki, to the crematoriums. And it took no time. It went very fast. The sauna, supposedly that you're going to take a shower, so you get undressed, and they opened up the Cyclone B, and there it goes.
You knew what was happening.
Yeah, we knew it already, but then they didn't want to believe. And it's interesting to know that the world didn't know. In 1944, that's 2 years after I came there. And the world didn't want, or maybe the world didn't want to believe that there is such thing like crematoriums, gas chambers, because they didn't want to believe it. There's another one that told them that this is what's happening. Odsutne Kenya, they said, that they bake bread there. But I knew it already by then, so that's another thing that I prayed for. If I am taken to the crematorium, is they should give me enough gas that I should choke instantly.
Did you live in the barrack while you were working?
I lived in the same barrack, same 27, and we were the privileged kids, so to say, really, because it was a good place. I also had in Birkenau a Seder. I cannot miss this. We had a Hebrew teacher, Mrs. Orlean. She survived, and I saw her about 2 years ago. I met her she lives in Israel, and she was a Hebrew teacher then already, so she was much older than, for instance, I was. And we organized a Seder. I'll tell you, it was, you played with your life to do something like this. But we did it. Girls brought in raisins from Roodkäppchen, Canada they called that commando. That commando was very good to work in it because during the day you could eat because newcomers brought. You sorted out all the things, all the belongings that the newcomers brought. Germans made use out of everything. So we sorted everything out. I mean, I was there only a short time, but the girls did sorted out, and it just so happened that they were successful to bring in a few raisins for us, so we made wine. And Pellkartoffel, we stole Pellkartoffel from the kitchen. That's the potatoes boiled in the skin. They call them Pellkartoffel in German. And that was a big holiday. And we said our prayers, whatever by heart, whatever we had a Seder, and we had the Seder. And I talked to Mrs. Olen about it, and she remembers it well. Yeah. So,
how did you know it was Passover?
Well, there were Zwangsarbeiter, forced labor men, worked Polish, non-Jewish. They worked there. And so we would we would kind of talk to them and ask for dates and ask for days. And a lot of times over the wires, the men would come around. Well, the men always asked for food from us. The men were always more hungry, of course, than we were. And they said, it's Pesach. And Mrs. Orlean, she was very smart about it. So we knew that it's Pesach. We knew most of the time we knew when it's Yom Kippur or Tisha B'Av, and I fasted. What did I fast from? I fasted all the years, all the 3.5 years. But yeah, I fasted. And we were able to find out. We also heard when, like for instance, people came from Majdanek to Auschwitz. So we were able to hear about what's going on in Majdanek and who is in Majdanek. And that's how I happened to know that my parents in Hershey were in Majdanek. So the Seder was something very special. There was a Slovak lady doctor, Erna, and I was kind of her pet. Now, I was 13 months in Leichin Commando. That's a long time to carry dead people day in and day out. The truck would come at 2 o'clock in the morning, and we would be woken up, and we would have to go out and again throw all the corpses, all the bodies on the truck. That was another thing that we had to do. So again, I said before, if it was a friend of ours, so we were more careful, and we asked for forgiveness, and they were taken to the crematorium. The 25th barrack, at the selections, they threw everybody in there if the trucks were not able to take, like on that Yom Kippur, the crematoriums weren't working fast enough for them, for all the people that they selected, so they threw everybody on the 25th barrack, or the very sick ones. If, let's say, they didn't have the truck today to go to the crematorium, the very sick ones stayed on the 25th barrack. If anybody died, so we had to go in and pick the body up. And one of the girls came out with us. I hope she survived. She just held down to the stretcher and she came out with us. So that was, fast thinking. And of course nobody said anything. So I hope she survived. When this Slovak lady doctor said that 13 months she thinks is enough for me with Leichin Commando, so she put me as a messenger girl. Messenger girl, taking messages from one camp to the other, to the Aufseher and to the SS, or to the capos, to the girls that worked in the offices. Because there was, they had that too. So, no, pardon me. First, she put me in Canada. Canada is the commando where we sorted the things from the newcomers.
What is it called?
Canada.
Canada?
Yeah, milk and honey. Yeah, the Roodkäppchen. We all wore red babushkas, so it's Roodkäppchen. And Canada. Yeah, that's what they call it. And so I said, it was good because we were able to eat during the day, and except I had to go to selections. And the very first day, I twisted my ankle. So I was brought back to the camp on a stretcher. Well, I was positive that I'm going straight to the crematorium because I'm a stretcher, Well, no, I'm here. So I guess it was meant for me. The second time, I put on a blouse to bring to the camp for a friend of mine. Well, they caught me with that. So my punishment was they shaved my head. And that was the 7th time that I had my hair shaved. That's the only time that I really wanted to commit suicide. But I had a very good friend, Suri, and she talked me out of it. So here I am. I didn't commit suicide. So after that, I kind of talked to this Slovak lady doctor, and I said, I don't have luck there, so she put me as, that's when I became a messenger girl. That was 44 already. You know. And the shooting was very close. The transports came in one after the other because they wanted to get in as many people as they were able. And also because of the war coming so close to the end, because Auschwitz was liberated in January 45, you know, so they wanted to send Auschwitz-Birkenau away from being liberated. So of course I was on a transport. Again, I was very lucky.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what you did as a messenger girl?
Oh, well, the messenger girl is the messages to the officers, to the capos, to the SS, from one camp to the other. You know, the camps were quite close. So I always got the message, and I was still there. And I came back to the Tor, to the entrance, to the entrance. So I was standing there for my next message. Also, when the food came in, when the kibbles, the garbage containers, but they call them kibbles, came with the food for lunchtime, I was there, helping out with that. That's about all. That was my messenger's job. And I got a little bit more food. A little bit more food. When they started out, I went through one selection that the Slovak lady doctor got me out of it because of this SS doctor. He was in love with her, believe it or not. So whatever she said, you know, like he did. And so she got me out of it, out of this one selection. So I was very lucky. I was very lucky with all this. And then they started out to send, as I said, they wanted to evacuate Auschwitz and Birkenau because of the war coming so close to the end. So I was sent away. I left Birkenau October 31st, 1944. But I was lucky again because I did not go on a hunger march. I'm sure you know about that. I went by train. So where do I get? To Bergen-Belsen. Bergen-Belsen was the worst because we didn't have the car anymore. The strength was gone. The food was horrible. There was no work. You just lay around and vegetate. They're doing nothing. It was horrible. Bergen-Belsen was horrible. So, but transports would come into Bergen-Belsen also. So here comes a friend of mine and tells me, now, wait a minute, your sister came to Auschwitz, to Birkenau. So what do I do about that? And I saw that transports came in every day to Bergen-Belsen, so I was hoping that my sister will come in. Now, my sister lived on non-Jewish papers, on false papers in Slovakia, in Bratislava. So she was not used to being hungry like I was. So what do I do about that? So again, they had so-called hospital there, you know, Revere. And the patients didn't eat whatever the food they got, they didn't eat anyway. So I figured, okay, I'm going to get somehow or other, I'll get to that hospital. And I did. And if my sister does come to Bergen-Belsen, so I'm going to have food for her. Well, my sister didn't get to Bergen-Belsen, but she survived. So I always say this in a hurry, she survived. And I worked in this hospital, and I was very good with these people. Never, they died. There were piles and piles and piles of dead bodies in Bergen-Belsen because it was like to the end, and nobody had the strength anymore. So again, I say the same thing. If you believe in it, it was meant for me to survive. Well, the shooting is very close. The SS wore white armbands. white flags over the houses. Now, I had no idea what that meant. No idea. You know, they gave brome in our food, some kind of medication, some kind of powder that we should forget. And I really had no idea what it meant. But come April 15th, 1945, over the loudspeaker, wir sind schon da, wir sind euch befreien gekommen. We're here, we came to liberate you. Now, what does this all mean? To be free. You have to think about it. I had to think at least, because I didn't realize what it really means to liberate me, that I'm free. I had no idea. So again, with all we had friends there too. We got together there too. And we talked about it. And so I guess we're free. We're free to go. So by 7 o'clock, the camp was full with food. It was canned food, but it served the purpose. Now, I didn't eat much. A lot of girls started to eat, and the stomachs were not used to, so they died, of course. I have a problem with history. I say it's the Americans. That's all I know is Američania, the Americans. History says it's the English. Well, so that's my problem. But I still give a lot of credit, most of the credit, to the Americans, because they were so great to us, with so much compassion, with so much understanding. They were so beautiful. They took us to the German houses. Oh, anyway, we had food. Okay.
In 1996, interview with Bertha Lautman. Bertha, before we talk about liberation, I'd like you to go back and tell us about the problem of lice in Birkenau.
It was a big problem because there was no hygiene at all. Girls had a lot of problems. Okay, you know what we used to do? From taking off clothes from dead people. And that's what we use as, no. Anyway, this is what we used, okay? And the lice came in Birkenau. We didn't have in Auschwitz, but in Birkenau, like full of lice everywhere. You put your hands in and you take out a whole bunch of lice. I don't remember how we got rid of it, because I remember we did get rid of it, because I know one of my girlfriends, everybody was clean already and she was still with lice. So I don't remember how it was. I also would want you to go back with me to the koyas. I didn't talk about my koya, my bed in Birkenau, my barrack 27 in the middle. We were 6 girls in one koya. I guess we had 2 blankets. There was no pillows, of course, because our soup bowl was the pillow. You had to watch that too. And so if one turned, all had to turn. But I guess by the time we went to bed, I guess we were tired, so we just slept, because Seelapel was early in the morning before Leichenkommando. And I was in that barrack all through Birkenau. I didn't move at all. So, and I still go there today. I went back the 6 times. I always go to my barrack, 27, and I see my bed where I spent my few years, my young years.
Who were the other women that you shared your bed with?
Well, Suri was one of them. Zilka Grossman. Suri died of cancer in Israel. Zilka died of cancer in Israel. Reizala was a Polish girl. She was also in Legion Commando. I don't know if she survived, because I don't know where she went from Birkenau. And Chayala was selected to the selected because she was so sick, like Bessie Steiner, you know. And I went to school with Chaya and with Bessie, except 1 year older. So she was with me on the Koya too. We were 6 girls. If I could tell you, I mean, if you would see my film, you would see that it's not big. And we were just crammed together. And then somehow or other, as I say, the lice went away. I don't remember how we got rid of the lice. I really don't remember. But we got rid of it. Getting back to the liberation is, it was beautiful. It was wonderful. And the next day, I was traveling around with the Lagerführer, the commander of the camp, in a jeep, of course, with the Americans. And I was showing around where the piles and piles of the dead people are. But I was the free person now, and Kramer was the Häftling. He was the prisoner. It did me so much good. I had such nakuma. It was just wonderful. And the Americans, again and again, they were beautiful to us, very beautiful. We were allowed to go to the German houses and take whatever we wanted. We only showed our numbers on our arms, and they stepped aside, and we took whatever we wanted. Well, what does Bertha Lautman take? Jelly. To this day, give me a piece of bread and it's a challah and jelly, I'm fine. I'm happy. I still love it. And another thing that I took is a damask tablecloth. Now, what did I need a tablecloth for? I didn't exactly entertain, but I took a tablecloth. Believe it or not, I have that tablecloth. Once a year I wash it. It's in my linen closet. Once a year I wash it and starch it and iron it. It's up there. It's in the linen closet. I don't know how my mind worked, but that's the way it was. We could grab chickens from the outside and kill them. I didn't do that. But we were allowed to do whatever we wanted. The Americans allowed us.
And where did you stay? Did you live still in the barracks?
Well, Bergen-Belsen, we were still in the barracks. But from Bergen-Belsen, they moved us to Bergen. And it was not barracks, it was like for soldiers. It was much better. And from Bergen, they took us to Celle. Why? Because, well, they were trying to send us back home, whatever home we called, you know. But we had an option. We could have gone to Sweden for rehabilitation or go back home to our country where we came from. Well, but by then, in Bergen, an American chaplain had a very great idea. He brought all the names, that just so happened, from my sister's camp, and came to my camp, to Bergen, and called for a meeting in the school auditorium. I mean, this was in the city already. This was not with electric wires or anything, you know. So, of course, everybody went. And he reads the names, and one of the names is my sister's name. So after the meeting was over, I went up to him, and I told him, this is my sister. So, wouldn't you know that he took me to my sister's camp, which was Kaunitz, and that's how I met my sister. It was happy and it was sad. She asked me and I asked her, do you know about, our family? So of course she didn't know and I didn't know. I only knew that Magda and Lily and Volvi, because I knew that if they didn't come into the camp, that means they went straight to the crematorium. And Volvi didn't survive. I just figured men died much faster than women did. So from Kaunis, from my sister's camp, we come to my camp. And when we had the option, whether Sweden or go home, so my sister and I made up our mind that we're going to go back to Czechoslovakia because, you know, from 7 children, maybe somebody will survive, so we're going to go look for a family. So they, from Bergen to Celle, and on Celle they put us on trucks.
Who are they? You give
The Americans. I give all the credit to Americans. I give all the credit to them. They were beautiful, you know, they were just great. So they put us on the trucks, and we go to Prague. Now, you come in Prague on Masaryk station. Prague is the capital city of Czechoslovakia. So Masaryk station, waiting for trains to take us to Slovakia, because we're Slovaks, we're from Slovakia. So we have no money, we have nothing. We only have a number, and this is the small identification card that I showed you. This is what we got before they put us on the trucks. That's all we had. So in Prague, on Masaryk station, we were waiting for trains, and here I am with my sister. Very few girls had siblings. I was very lucky, very lucky. So a young man walks around with a book under his arm already, and comes and meets my sister and says, oh, they knew each other. He lived on false papers, and so did my sister, and they knew about each other that they're Jewish, but they live on false papers. So they meet, and my sister says, oh, I have a sister. So she introduces me to this young man. Well, a few years later, this young man became my husband. And that's my husband, Mike. So that was Mike. Now, going back to Prague and Masaryk station, so we get finally a train that will take us to Bratislava, which is the capital city of Slovakia. So we go there. We come to Bratislava on the station, and I said, okay, I'm going to stay at the station. And my sister, she lived on non-Jewish papers in that city. So you're going to go and see if you find somebody. By the way, when we came to Bratislava, the JDC, the Joint Distribution Committee, they put us up in a hotel, not fancy hotel, you know, but it served the purpose, and it was co-ed too. They just put us all there. And so I told my sister she should go to the city and look, see if she'll find somebody that we know, and then come back to me and we'll see what's going on. Well, sure enough, my sister met Sam Wall. Sam Wall is in Detroit. His sister went on the 25th barrack, and she told me that if somebody will survive from her family, and if I survive, that I should tell them how she died. But I never told him. So Sam Wall, and Sam Wall was with my brother, somewhere in the partisans. My brother lived through the Holocaust in Russia, in Siberia, and all this, and then he got into the Czechoslovak army.
Which brother is that?
My oldest brother. That's the only brother that we have. And he came in the Czechoslovak army. He was a captain. He was a big shot. And he came to Slovakia, and he was a partisan. And Sam Wall told us that he probably survived. So when we got settled in Bratislava, in this hotel, and they had a kosher kitchen for us already. JDC, Joint Distribution Committee, did all this. So I got postcards, I don't know from where, because I sure didn't have money to buy, and I wrote postcards to the city that I was hoping that if my brother did survive, that he's going to go back home and see if he'll find family, and he's going to pass through that city. So I wrote and I addressed the postcards to Hershey Einhorn because I thought that maybe he survived, and Hershey is the one in the pictures, and that he would be in that city. Sure enough, my brother goes home and he stops in that city and he meets this Hershey, and Hershey tells him that you have 2 sisters in Bratislava. So we got a telegram from him. I have the telegram, and 2 days later, My brother came to Bratislava. And that's how the three of us met. Now, again, I say very few girls, a sister and a brother, that's unheard of. So I was very lucky. So then our brother became our everything, our father and our mother and our sister and brother. He was excellent to us. He still is. He took care of us like two little girls, and he's everything. So he took us to Banska Bystrica, where he was stationed for rehabilitation. And when he was discharged, we settled in the city of Košice. This is where we lived after we came home, after we settled down. So my brother got married, my sister got married, and here I am with Mike. Well, I guess we'll get married too, you know. So we got married, and my brother leaves for Israel, my sister leaves for Israel, and Mike has 4 uncles in Cleveland. And he was really hoping to come to America. He got his papers. He got his papers right away. As soon as, through the Red Cross, he got in touch with Uncle Bill here, and so he got his papers very fast. Now, but he gets married, so they sent papers for me. And then we had a baby, so Alice gets the papers. But I really wanted to go to Israel because I missed my sister and my brother. So we made up whatever will come first. Well, America came first. So that's how I ended up in Cleveland, Ohio, with my husband and baby, and with most beautiful Moskowitz and Tesla family. They were very beautiful to us. And Mike was the only nephew that survived the Holocaust. So he came here like, you know, like Mashiach came, you know. So they were very beautiful, very nice to us. And all through the years, I never felt that I'm a niece to marriage at all. To this day, well, we only have 2 aunts left now. But I was very close with them and very beautiful. The Young Israel was not far from where we lived. So we went to the Young Israel, and I meet Dr. Rabinsky there. I'm going to bring this up now because I would not be here doing all this if it wouldn't be for Dr. Rabinsky. She started out the literature of the Holocaust at Cleveland Heights High School. She's an Orthodox teacher, very good, very bright, very intelligent, and knows a lot more about the Holocaust than I do. Because what did I know about the history of the Holocaust? I'm learning now because I only knew Auschwitz, Birkenau, and Bergen-Belsen, and Leichenkommando, and all this, you know. So she has this idea to take students back to the concentration camps. And she wants a survivor to go along, and she wants me to go along. Now, when I was liberated in Bergen-Belsen, there's another thing, besides the Dana's tablecloth, there's another thing that I had in mind, that whenever time, of course, health, and money will allow me, I want to go back to Auschwitz as a free person. Nothing else, because I remember plenty about Auschwitz. And when she came with this proposition, I said, of course, Auschwitz. So I said, oh, yeah, sure. But before all this, she wants me to talk. Now, I'm not a professional speaker. I'm very conscious of my English, my accent. I said, no, I can't do it because the kids will fall asleep on me. They won't be able to understand my English and all this. But to know Dr. Rabinsky is, you cannot say no to her. So one morning, I found myself in front of her class. And I've been speaking ever since. Whatever way I speak, but I do it. So December 17, 1975, our first journey of conscience. We take white, black, Jewish, whatever. And I have my Sarala, my Episcopalian 60-year-old Sarala, that was excellent to me. All the students, you'd be surprised, I was so worried about my English and my all this. They were so beautiful to me. They were so good to me. I can't find words to describe it, how good they were all to me. And when we got closer to Auschwitz, all eyes were turned on Bertha. What will Bertha do next? Poor kids, they all wanted to walk through with me in Auschwitz, you know? But I just wanted to go by myself and think of all the kids, of all the girls and all the family that I lost there. So I walked through, but they were so beautiful. So we went from first we come to Prague, and then we go to Auschwitz-Birkenau, we go to Vienna, we went to Budapest, we go to, well, first, then we go to Israel, but from Israel we go to Holland, and in Holland we have our banquet. And with all those students, my dream came true because I wanted to go to Auschwitz. And hopefully, you know, I'm still in touch with them. That's 75. Hopefully they learned a lot, and I'm sure they did, because Kenny Myers, for instance, was very active in the Holocaust, and he still is. He wrote a lot, he became a writer. He's a lawyer now. On the way home, she has this idea that we're going to go again. And I said, okay, we'll go again. Come 79, in the meantime, after the first journey, Dr. Rabinsky and Mrs. Mann, the two teachers that came along, they wrote a book. That's from the first journey. And we traveled all over the United States and Canada. And, you know, I worked full time, so wherever leaders saw that I am important as a survivor, so I got time off from work, and I traveled with them. And I spoke everywhere the way, you know, whatever way I speak. And we came to Chicago, to Evanston, Illinois, that they told us that it's a very bad class. And once I came up, you could hear a pin drop. It was excellent, very good. So I have very good experience from all this. 79, well, I asked permission to take along my little one. My little one.
Your own child?
My own child, my little one. And that's Jeffrey. Jeffrey was very interested in it. Jeffrey's a bright young man, and so I figured, okay, as long as I get permission, because you have to take her class in order to be able to go. And Jeffrey did not take, but he's child of survivors. Anyway, I got permission, and I took Jeffrey along. It was excellent, but it makes it very hard. It makes it hard on the child, and also it makes it hard on me. Jeffrey was looking for his grandparents. Jeffrey looked at my choir. So it made it very hard, but it was all worth it. It was worth it. And we had Channel 25. Two men came along with a camera, and they followed mother and son from the beginning to the end. But we always end up in Israel, where my brother waits for me, with flowers, you know, the Israeli custom, and my sister-in-law, my nephew, and my niece, and Dr. Rabinsky had children there too, and they were all there. We had a beautiful welcome at the airport. It was wonderful, and Israel is like rebirth, you know, you breathe again, you know. Well, on the way back, she's got another idea. We're going to take children of survivors, like my children. Well, 1983 came around, so I took my daughter. Now, this journey I talk the least about. They were all the same. They were all looking for grandparents. They were all very sad. So they really didn't turn to me as much, because they were looking for their grandparents and families. So, but I did take Alice along. And I have to go one more time with my third child. I have another son, Donnie, that I'm planning, and I'm still hoping, whenever he'll give me the time, that I'll take him to Auschwitz. For all this, I am thankful and grateful for America and Dr. Rabinsky, because where else would I have that chance to go back 3 times? And to go with the students is the best. The best. They're beautiful. A year later, or maybe, she went again. Dr. Rabinsky went again, but she went with survivors, mostly Polish. So I didn't want to go because I've been to Poland 3 times already, and nobody was Slovak. I was the only one, so I did not go with her. But then I got a call from March of the Living, Bnei Akiva. We talked with leaders that we should go with Orthodox kids, but somehow it never materialized. So I got this call, and I figured, okay, that's a good chance for me to go with Orthodox kids. Well, 1944, no, 1994.
94.
Yeah, 94. I go on March of the Living with Bnei Akiva with all Orthodox kids. Boy, they're from, they're religious, they're beautiful. I'll tell you, it was such pleasure. But when David told me, David Tesler was in charge and Daniel Ratner, you know. So when David told me that we're going to spend a whole week in Poland and a Shabbat in Poland, I said, now wait a minute, what are we going to do in Poland? My God, I ran away from Poland. I just see my Danek. I have to get back to my Danek. So no, he says we visit all the shuls, all the temples, and all the restaurants, whatever there was, whatever pertained to the Jewish, the museums, everything. Well, it was a great week, and the Shabbat was beautiful. The Shabbat was beautiful. It was all sponsored by Israel, all kosher, and we were served like with waiters and waitresses, and I didn't have to schlep along kosher food because Litas and I always had to take along kosher food because we observe dietary laws, and so you can get in Poland. Now they have a restaurant there, but who wants to eat? So, so we always took along our own food. So, and now Israel provided everything, including security, a lot of security. So it was wonderful, wonderful. And the following, well, and we go to Israel, 1 week in Poland and 1 week in Israel. In Israel, I only go to Yad Vashem with the kids because they don't really need me there, and I have my brother there. So I spend time with my brother, and with Yad Vashem we get together with the kids. I got a call in 1945. I did the same thing, and I go to my Danek. I have to get back to my Danek because my parents in Hershey were killed there. To go with the kids, I know the difference now. To go by myself and to go with the kids, they were all in back of me. They were all saying Tehillim. They said, you know, I say my Kaddish. I picked the room where they have the bones preserved because you never know, it might be my parents. So this is where we get together. I say my Kaddish. And they say, Kelma Rachman. They cry with me. They walk with me from barrack to barrack. It makes it much easier. So I did the same thing in 1945. I have learned a lot about Polish Jewry, a lot. 1996 came and I do the same thing. I go again with March of the Living, with Bnei Akiva. But I had to come home. You know, God has had different plans for me. We got back to the hotel in this hick town of Poland, and it was around 12 o'clock midnight, and I have a message at the reception desk that I should come home. Mike is going to have open heart surgery. Mike being my husband. So, Jeffrey put me all over in the computer, and I had everything prepared. I took a taxi at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I went. My Danek was only an hour away from this hick town where we were. And so I went by myself. But you know, I didn't stay long there. I was afraid. I don't know, I just didn't have the kids with me. I did say my Kaddish, and I left for Warsaw. I left for Warsaw, and I left Warsaw 1 o'clock in the afternoon. By 12 o'clock midnight, I was in the hospital in Cleveland, Ohio. Traveled from Warsaw to New York, from New York here, and we were in the hospital. So that was my end of my story with the hospital and with Mike. But thank God it's not the end. It's still, thank God for all this.
Bertha, do you have before we end, do you have any message you want to leave for future generations? I mean, obviously you are very active with the young people.
Yeah,
what would you say?
What would I say? I am active, and I hope to go again in 97. I am invited already, and I hope to make it. So My message, it's crucial. It's very important to have classes like Dr. Rabinsky had. It's very important to take kids back to camps with a survivor. And by the way, I'm a very good survivor to take because I was the very first one in Auschwitz, very first, and I went through it all. To teach them, they should learn all about Holocaust. The Holocaust is not a hoax, like some books write. Some people write the books that it's a hoax. It is not. They should study and learn as much as possible and carry on. After all, survivors are not going to be here forever. After I'm gone, it's going to be all forgotten. I won't tell the story again. So this is my message to the young people, to carry on, study, and learn as much as you can, and be active in organizations. Like Cleveland has a very good organization, Kol Yisrael. Be active in it, and play a very important role in anything you can, because it is very important to have it forever.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bertha Lautman, November 10, 1996. Bertha, please describe the picture and when it was taken.
This is my mother in this picture, and my parents were very religious, so they did not take pictures. So I think that this should be by 1940 or 1941, because by then everybody had to have pictures for identification cards. So they had to have pictures taken. So this must be 1940 or 41. And this is my mother.
And how did you get the pictures?
Oh, the pictures we got, my mother, well, to tell you a little bit in details, when I came back after we were liberated, I went back home. So one of the guys there told me that, well, he called my mother crazy, but I'm sure she was not crazy. She probably had a nervous breakdown, because from all 7 children, she was left with 1. So probably that what happened. But she was healthy. I mean, she was conscious enough of putting pictures together and give it to this guy and tell him that if any of my children survive, if they come back home, please give them these pictures. That's how we happen to have pictures from our family. My mother left them for us.
Bertha, who is in this picture?
Well, in this picture is my father. As you could see, he has a red beard, blue eyes. He was not a tall man, but he was good looking. My older son once let his beard grow, and it was also red, and the hair is dark. But of course my father doesn't have much hair, but the head doesn't. The head covers up the head. That's my father, the last time. And again, it had to be probably the same time, 1940 and 1941, because of identification cards.
Bertha, can you describe, please, who is here in this family picture?
Yes.
And I will point. Who is this gentleman?
This is my brother, my second oldest brother, Volvi. He died in Birkenau.
And who is next to him?
Magda. Magda is my second oldest sister. She went straight to the crematorium. She never got to camp.
And who is the woman next to her?
This is my mommy. This is my mother. Yeah. Yeah, this is my mother, and we probably took all these pictures at the same time. And as long as they were taking pictures, they gave the okay, and they had to give the okay to take pictures. So we had a family picture taken, and that's how I happened to have the whole family, a family picture.
Was that in your hometown?
That was in my hometown, in Vyšná Pisana, where we come from, in Czechoslovakia.
Okay. Who is the woman here in the middle?
That's Lily. That's my oldest sister. She was beautiful. She was beautiful. She was married, and I was told that she came to Auschwitz, to Birkenau, pregnant. And she also went straight to crematorium. She never got to camp.
Who is this man?
This is my father. This is my father. Oh. Good-looking guy with a red beard.
Who is the girl next to him?
Oh, this is my sister Fanny. That's the one that I have now. She lives right here in Cleveland with us. And she tells me that I was a spoiled brat. Yeah, that's my sister Fanny.
Who is the young man next to her?
Oh, this is our oldest brother, Emil Shmuel. He's good. Oh, he was so good after we got together. He's everything to us, and he still is. Even now when the three of us get together, I become the baby automatically, and I become spoiled automatically. I am very spoiled from him. He always calls me Betushka, Betushka. Yeah, that's my brother.
And who is this young boy here?
This is Hershey. As you could see the way we are seated, we are like twins. I'm the youngest of the girls, and he's the youngest of all the children. And Hershey, blonde, blue-eyed, good-looking little boy. I guess my playmate, my everything. We did a lot of things together. He was in Cheder at the time of when the Holocaust started out. And he left for Majdanek with my parents together. And he died in Majdanek December 1st, 1942. I found that out in the archives of Majdanek. They have his death certificate there. They do not have my parents' death certificates there because they said that the Russians took all the papers, everything they took there. The Majdanek archives got only part of it. So I found Hershey's, but I didn't find my parents.
Okay. And Bertha, this is you in the middle next to Hershey?
This is me. Yeah, this is me, a little girl. Yeah, I think I was prettier than on the picture. But that's me. All the 7 children.
What is this picture about? What do the people do there?
Well, I don't know if you know about it, but in Europe, when Pesach came around, you weren't able just to go to the store and buy matzahs. So we had to bake our own matzahs. So a few families got together. It was in our house, and I remember this, and baked matzahs for Pesach. Now, a matzah has to be baked in 18 minutes, not longer. And there is somebody with water, somebody with the flour, and then you roll out fast, and all these things that you have to do on a matzah, it goes very fast. I would pour water for my brother. Now, I'm going to start to tell you that this is... This is my brother, Volvi. He's the one that died in Birkenau, and he's the one that used to make the dough for the matzahs. And I used to give him, pour the water for him. He always told me, Is it enough, more, or whatever? So that's Volvi. This is my brother Hershey, the one that died in Maidan, my youngest. We all helped. We all see the rolling pins, and everybody had to help. Everybody had something to do. It should go fast. This is my sister Magda. You see the aprons that we have on? And Magda went straight to the crematorium. That's my second oldest. This is my sister, my older sister Lily. She was very beautiful. So she probably was rolling out the matzahs in order to, and it was made for all the families. So we needed a lot of matzahs. This is my mother. You see with the babushka there? That's my mother. And well, she was busy with the oven. The oven had to be prepared and all this. It's a big job. It's a big job, but it had to be done. This is me, the little one there, you know. So I was helping my brother. That was my job.
Can you point again to you?
Yes. Right in front of me is Bessie Steiner. I talk about her because when we come into my barrack, Bessie was right there on the first, on the top koya, and she was taken to the crematorium because she was very sick, very sick. So, and we went to school together, so I talk about her a lot. We were very close friends. So that's Bessie.
Anybody else you want to point to?
Yeah, well, this young man, this girl, and this. 3 sisters and a brother. Well, Bessie went to the crematorium by herself, but Rally and Hannah Malka here, they were in selections, so they were sorted out to go to the crematorium. While they were waiting, boy, I remember the place. While they were waiting to go on the truck to be taken to the crematorium, so sa rozlučíme, which means let's say goodbye to each other, you know. And so I went to say goodbye to them. And if I would not have, the Leichenkommando Commander, we had a white armband. It said Krankenbau, it said the hospital, that we belonged to the hospital. I did not wear it, but I had it on me. So if I would not have that band on me, I wouldn't have been here today, for sure, because they would have been taken. So that's the story with Hannah Malka in Rally with the 3 sisters, and that's the little brother. I don't know where the brother, how he lived through how he went through the Holocaust, but nobody survived. Nobody survived from this picture. I want to tell you that I'm the only survivor in this picture. Oh, and Hershey, this young man. That's all. Nobody else. Mm-mm.
Who is in this picture?
Well, these are my in-laws, my husband's parents. He got the picture also from non-Jewish people there. And, you know, I heard about him a lot. You know, he talks quite often. Mike talks a lot about his family. So these are his parents. And he also has a picture of his brothers. He doesn't have a picture. He had 1 sister. So this is in a school pictures that he has, Alice. But these are his parents.
Bertha, these are postcards from during the war. Can you tell us about them?
Yes. We got permission to write home. I don't know what made the SS do it for us, that we should write home. But of course we were not allowed to write what life really is like. We only wrote that we are fine, we are healthy, and we work. And at the end, my way. Okay, the two postcards I did not write by myself because they picked a holiday, they picked a Shabbat. I don't know why, but this is more punishment, I suppose. So I did not want to write on Shabbat, so somebody wrote it for me. That one, this is not my handwriting, but it's whatever I wanted to say. I ended up my postcards always with best regards, and I mentioned either in Hungarian, I mentioned in one postcard, Csemege, to get a package, and this I wrote myself. Maybe I decided that to write on Shabbos, or maybe we didn't get it on Shabbat, you know. So I wrote it myself, and I end up with best regards for Deltali, for instance, that's food, pastry. So hoping that they'll get an idea that I'm hungry, that we need food. And as a matter of fact, I did get once a package from Salomon Einhorn, the one that I wrote the postcard, through the Red Cross, sardines. Now that was really something in Birkenau. So, and I got these postcards again from the guys that when I went home after the Holocaust, I got the postcards from them. And they should be really preserved. So I have them. Once in a while I look at them. It brings back bad memories. Yeah, that's Salomon Einhorn. Mm-hmm.
Bertha, what do we see here?
Well, here we see the Lagerführer of Bergen-Belsen, Kramer. Lagerführer is the commandant of the camp. He was a mean, you know what, very mean, and everybody was so afraid of him. Well, but you know, this is a Czech magazine that when I got together with my brother, he had this already. So I got this from my brother. When we were liberated, so I mentioned this before, I drove around in a Jeep with, of course, the American soldiers, and with Kramer. Kramer being the prisoner, and I am the free person. So I got a lot of satisfaction out of that, a lot of it. Another thing that we really wanted to do, so I drove around with them, showing all the piles of all the dead people. Bergen-Belsen was full with piles, full everywhere. Wherever you went, there was a pile with dead bodies. Terrible. It looked horrible. Another thing that we wanted to do after we were liberated is there was a very beautiful, typical German, blonde, blue-eyed SS lady with the beautiful blonde hair, and I would have done anything to cut her hair off. Ugh. And no, we were not allowed. The Americans wouldn't allow us. He said that because hair for a woman is the crown, you know, and they wouldn't let us. But we really wanted to do it. So Kramer, I got a lot of satisfaction out of this, traveling with him, and I talked to him. I told him, you know, like, you see, you're the prisoner now. You see what you did to me? All in German. It was very good.
Bertha, what is it that we're holding?
Well, this is a very interesting story about this. When we were in our second journey, our first journey in 1975, we went to the barracks in Auschwitz, and Polish men were working, were making out of one barrack they make it into a museum. So they found this under the woodwork. So I come in, and this guy, being that I speak Polish, this guy tells me that, do I want this because they have no use for it? So I looked at it and I said, I noticed, you know, I recognized it, that this is from this film. And he had 3 more. Dr. Rabinsky took one, I took one, and Mark Cohen took one. So this, of course, is not kosher now. If one wants to use it, it has to be checked for being correct. But it's interesting that somebody came with that film and hid it behind the woodwork. Now, what was the purpose of it? But Ziona had a good idea. It's for somebody to find it. And here I come, and they gave it to me. I gave them $5 for it, and $5 was a lot of money then for the Polish people, and we have this. So I want Jeffrey, or any of my children for that matter, but probably it will be Jeffrey, that he should try to do something. Mark put it in a picture. He framed it. Asher Rabinsky put it into film. So I don't know what we're going to do, but this is something that I hold on dearly to it.
What is the certificate that we're looking at?
Well, we got this, again, from the Americans. That's all I know is the Americans, after we were liberated, before we went back to Prague. And that was our ID card. That's all we traveled with this and the number on our arms. Because we had no money, we had nothing. So this is what took us back home, back to Czechoslovakia.
Describe the picture and when and where it was taken.
Well, this picture is taken, of course, after the Holocaust, after we were all three of us together already, living in Košice. This is where we settled. And my sister and I and my brother, so we took single pictures. And I'll tell you what, it was for passports, because you could tell the two corners there.
And who is this?
It was
is
for passport. This is me. Yeah, this is Bertha Lautman. Yeah, this is me.
What year?
It probably was 1946, because by 1947 we left, so we had to have, we also had to have identification cards while living in Košice because of communism. You know, the communists were there already, so we had to have identification cards, and then for passports. So this is me, probably 1946.
Please describe the picture and when and where it was taken.
Well, this is Bertha and Mike at the wedding, which was February 23rd, 1947. A lot of years ago, please.
Where was
But
it taken?
the wedding was took place in Košice, the city where we lived. My brother sponsored everything. My brother paid for everything. It's like he was the father, you know. And we had a beautiful wedding with all the sorrows. But of course, we always bring up parents and all this. But we had a beautiful, very frum Orthodox wedding with a lot of dancing, with a lot of music, and a lot of good food that was made, homemade by Zilka Grossman, if you remember, I mentioned her, and Suri, the two girls. They cooked. They were the chefs. It was very good. It was a nice wedding. My brother made as nice for us as possible. He married off my sister also, and he was great. He still is. He's still He's very good.
Okay. Bertha, this is a family picture, and I will point if you can just tell us who we see in the picture.
Yeah, okay. These are all my children. This is Meira Dickman. This is my daughter's child. She's the youngest. The next one is Adira. Adira is my Jeffrey's, my youngest son's, the oldest daughter. The next one is Nurit. Nurit is Dickman, Mira's sister. This is Navala. Navala is the oldest of my daughter, Dr. Dickman's in Alice. Yeah, this is Navala. Navala is now at Stern College.
Who is this gentleman here?
This gentleman is Jeffrey, my younger son.
And
Jeffrey Lautman.
And who is the one next to him?
Next to him is Donnie, my older son. These are my two sons.
Who is the boy next to
the
them?
The boy is Eitan. That's Dr. Dickman's and Alice's oldest child, firstborn. That's Eitani. Eitan.
Okay. And who is the little girl next
This
to him?
is Talia. Talia is the second youngest of Jeffrey, my younger sons, Dr. Lautman.
And who is this?
Well, this is, I guess, Mike. Mike and Bertha, the grandparents of all these, parents and grandparents. Mike is my husband. Next to him is me.
Who is the baby here?
The baby is Akiva. That's Jeffrey's youngest son.
And who is
Akiva,
holding him?
And the lady holding him is Ariela. Ariela is my older son's wife, my daughter-in-law.
Okay. Who is next to Ariela?
Next to Ariela is Terry. Terry is Jeffrey's wife and the mother of the baby there.
Okay.
Lautman. That's
Who
Lautman.
is behind her next
Behind
to
her is Rachele. Rachele is my niece, my brother's daughter. She happened to be in the States, so we took pictures together.
Who is this young woman here?
In front is Yonit Dickman. It's Dr. Dickman's and Alice's child, second oldest daughter. Yeah.
And behind her?
Behind her is Alice. That's my daughter. With Dr. Dickman and Alice. That's Alice. Okay.
Now, who is this boy?
This is Yanif. Yanif is Jeffrey's older son.
And next to him?
Next to him is Sarit. Sarit is Dani's, my older son's youngest daughter.
And next to her?
And next to her, you know what? I made a mistake with because this is Nurit there, I think. Oh, this is Elisheva. Okay, can you? This is not Nurit, like I said the first time. This is Elisheva. Dani's, my older son's second daughter. And this is Nurit up here. That's Alice's daughter. And where is Yoni? I'm supposed to have Dani's son somewhere too. Yoni is not here. This is Eitan. Or is this Yoni? Where is Eitan? Oh, pardon me. I made mistakes. Okay, this is Yoni. In the glasses, there's Yoni.
Here.
And Eitan is in the back.
Behind him.
Behind him. That's right. Yeah. That's Eitan. And that's Elliot. Next to Eitan. And Yaakov. Yaakov is Rachel's husband, my brother's son-in-law. That's him, yeah. So I guess I have all the children.
Who is this young lady here?
Ziva. Did we have her?
No, she's the only one.
All right. Ziva is Dani's, my oldest son's oldest child.
Well, you are blessed with many grandchildren.
Yeah, thank you. I am.
Great.
That's why I make mistakes, you know. No, this is Eitan. I should have known that Eitan was bigger.
It's November 10, 1996. Bertha, can you tell us who is here with you today?
Well, van alle sieben bin ich allein geblieben, they say in Yiddish. I'm lucky enough to have my daughter-in-law, my youngest son's Jeffrey's wife. She's the only one that is home. And she's here with her 4 children and 2 Dickman children. Alice is my daughter's children. So this is, right next to me is Yanif Lautman. Hi. This is Talia.
Hi.
And this is Akiva.
Hi.
Oh, Akiva, that's all. And Adira.
Hello.
They're all Jeffrey Lautman's and Terry's children. Now the 2 girls is Nurit
Dickman and Meira Dickman. These are my daughter's children. That's all I have right now. So I'm glad that I have at least somebody here. Yes, I have Terry, my best daughter-in-law, one of my best daughter-in-laws. I have two daughter-in-laws. They're all good. And the children are beautiful, as you could tell, like all children, and they're cute, and they're adorable, and sometimes whatever, you know. But most of the time, they're very beautiful and very good, and they're very good students, and they're all observant. All my children are Orthodox, and I take a lot of pride in it. I also take a lot of credit for it.
You deserve it.
Yeah. So I'm very proud, and listen, it's a big schus that I was able to make through the Holocaust, and get married and have the children that I have. My own 3 children are wonderful, no complaints, and the in-laws, very good. I'm just very happy and very lucky to have all this. And as I say, it's a big schus. It's a big privilege. So, and I enjoy the kids. I really do. Yeah, they could come, and she could go with the shoes on the couch. They have their toys, the corner, and they could make a mess, and I love to have them. I used to have them a lot. Now it's a little bit less, but still I enjoy them. Like any grandma would.
Terry is the only adult representative here of the family. Would you like to say something about your mother-in-law, what it means to have a mother-in-law as a survivor?
Yes, I think you've asked me 2 questions, and I'll tackle both of them as best as I can. I don't think I'm going to answer in full because I think that's probably impossible. But I think the first question was just as a mother-in-law, and I couldn't be blessed with a better mother-in-law. She's always there for us. She's always thinking ahead. She's always helpful for me or for the kids. If you want, I get surprises Friday night before Shabbat. She'll have made me some food that I can add that just enhances what I can put out for Shabbat for my kids, my family who I'm entertaining. So it's a pleasure, and we get along wonderful, and we always joke about mother-daughter-in-law kind of jokes, and they're not between us. You know, we can laugh at other people. But then your second question was about the Holocaust, and what does it mean to me that my mother-in-law is a survivor of the Holocaust? And the first thing that I think of is that when I was first engaged and I came to meet her, and we were getting to know each other and working in the kitchen or clearing the table, and she rolled up her sleeve, and I don't think you know this, but she rolled up her sleeves to do the dishes. And my first second I thought, she's got a stain on her arm, and then I realized it was her number. And I had never seen anybody with a number before in my life. And it really shook me to the core. And of course I know about her experiences going back to the concentration camps with youth groups and with my husband, who's been tremendously affected by that in terms of his strength of who he is and his connection to Judaism. But for me, that took it away from documentaries and history books and newsreels that you can look at, or movies on the TV. That to me meant, oh my God, it's touching me. And so what does that do for me in raising my children? It means that history goes on, and the Jews are persecuted all the time in every era. And here we are growing again and prospering. And we have got to continue that by giving each of our children the strength that if it comes again in their lifetime, to know who they are and where they came from, and to learn from these powerful examples like my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, that we may have questions, and we may have been through hell, I mean not me specifically, but we will survive because of the strength that our generations give us. And people like my mother-in-law and my father-in-law. My father is a survivor, but not to any degree of experiences that my mother-in-law experienced. If we can pass on some strength, some spark of their strength, then there is hope for our people in the future. And that's my wish to everybody watching and looking at this in the future, to get that message, if you're Jewish, especially to yourselves, that we may not know why we're persecuted. We may have all kinds of questions that we intend on asking when our time comes, but the question shouldn't deter us from continuing following in the legacy of our Jewish heritage.
Nurit, you're the oldest grandchild present here. Would you like to say something?
Well, I'm glad I have such a great grandmother like my Oma here, and I think she's a very brave woman to survive all the experiences she had in the Holocaust, and also she's a very good cook.
Anybody else would like to say something? Would you like to say something?
I just want to thank Hashem that he saved my grandmother, because if she wasn't here, I wouldn't be alive. And also, she's very caring, she's very loving, and she doesn't want anyone to be upset or hurt.
Okay.
I want to thank Hashem that my grandmother is still alive, because I wouldn't be here if she didn't survive the Holocaust. And also, she doesn't she always is here to help us. And she's the best cook, like Nate said. She
Okay. Anybody else?
You like Oma's
Tequila.
taco? You like Oma's taco?
and chicken.
Tequila.
Yeah.
Chicken?
Oma's always saying, all for the Kinder. How do you say that?
Alles für die Kinder. Koidem die Kinder.
Koidem the Kinder. My husband quotes that too.
And what does it mean?
First the children.
Children come first.
Children always come first.
My mother-in-law is full of life. Do I say this? We don't talk about dates.
No.
No, we don't talk about dates and ages and stuff like that.
Yeah,
We only
it's
talk
Joanna
about
sorry.
life,
I
and
told her that lie.
we're going to go on forever.
Yeah.
I love you, Oma. Oma.
Talia? You can say, I love you, Oma. Would you like to say your own thing?
She's a shy one.
Okay, thank
That's
you
okay.
very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.